was living on my own. So, Dad was a real good sport about everything. You know, going to the big shopping mall. Was it the Ala Moana Mall and the Ala Moana Hotel? Why do I have Ala Moana on my brain anyways? So I just remember him being a good sport. You know, I would suggest this, that, and the other, and he thought it was a good idea. And he may have suggested something, but I really can't recall. I just remember going to the big mall, taking pictures, and having a fun time. They had like a circus or a carnival going on by the hotel. It seemed like every day we woke up and started our day off slowly with the carnival and the beach. And that was the one and only time I remember dragging Dad out to the dance floor at the bottom of the hotel. They had like a little bar music area, and so as I do look back, you know, I appreciate that my mom didn't make us all stay. That was really nice. We just got to go with Dad. So anyways, we were out there dancing, and the hotel was all enclosed. Everything was at the hotel. So he went up to the room. He was tired, and I just stayed there by myself. And it's almost like you're never by yourself, because they have people that work there that if they do see that you're by yourself, they will come and ask you to dance, or they will ask you if you need anything. So that was fun. So somehow, on the last day of this Hawaiian trip, I get it in my mind that I don't have the nice Hawaiian tan that I wanted, right? So I get out there with my little sister, and I slather her all up with sunscreen. But do you think I slathered myself up with sunscreen? Of course not. I'm thinking I'm going to get a golden brown natural tan. I was so way wrong. So we were there for a few hours. Dad was still sleeping in the room. He comes back, all is well. I don't realize that I've been so badly sunburned that it's going to create problems. So we ended up with a flight back home to Los Angeles late that night, and all I remember, I had on the best white shorts and the best white blouse. It was like a Hawaiian print blouse, white with colored Hawaiian print, kind of around the edges. And I always felt that white, like white Levi shorts remember Hicks. It was like a soap or a shampoo. I'll have to research it and see what we used it for. I think it was like a medicated shampoo or medicated soap. But if you opened up our medicine cabinet back in the day, it was Noxzema, Hicks, Pectine, and Mercurochrome, and Band-Aids. What else was there? I think that's it. Anyways, so she sprays me down with Pectine, and I think I'm gonna be okay. And then, eventually, like after a week, I was okay. And it wasn't until years later that I was fearful of that moment. Because they would talk about skin cancer and they would talk about different things. And I think it was at that point that the bad sunburn from Hawaii always haunted me as being potentially dangerous, decades later. So there's that. And probably when I think back on that Hawaiian trip, the part that was the most boring or upsetting wasn't the sunburn. It was the one little arm of the trip where we went to Maui. Is that the little side island? I've been there many times, obviously with Dad flying there all the time, and he loved it. It was cheap to fly. I think I'd been there 4 or 5 times prior to being married. So Maui was just not fun for kids. Young adults, we wanted the excitement and lights of Waikiki. Oh, and we went to see Dono. I saw Dono so many times. And so then what ended up happening is when my mom and my sister were well enough to go to Hawaii, my dad wanted them to go. They said, you'll have so much fun. And somehow I ended up going with my mom and my sister as well. Had a wonderful time. So that was a couple months later, I do believe, where I learned a few things about myself that I had given myself an allergy. There was something about the steam room and the hot tub. I was a addict. I was a steam room hot tub addict. After I did my daily workout, there was another hour between steam room, hot tub, and shower, ice cold shower. But somehow in that process it created a terrible allergy. And it wasn't brought to my attention until the time I went to Hawaii with my mom, my sister, and we were all in the same room. And that morning I was just a wreck. Sneezing and coughing and sniffling and hacking. And my mom was so upset. And because I've never had a history of allergy or sneezing or coughing or hacking, when I did have it, it was obvious. I couldn't see it or didn't want to admit that it was a real thing. My mom let me know it was a real thing. So I ended up, when I went back home, went to an allergist, took care of it, and somehow it went away. When I quit going to that steam room, hot tub, and area, and moved, the allergy went away. So we have many pictures of Mom and me and my sister, and on that Hawaiian trip, we went on a cruise, and the Hawaiian workers there were so kind to us. We were all 3 together, and they were always asking us to get up and dance, my mom, me, and my sister, and again, just another feeling of they wanted you to enjoy your vacation. So, and then I remember being able to show Mom the shopping center was me, Kathy, Terry, I think Monica and Sue, possibly Kayanne. I do not know if Loretta was part of the Hawaii group. Though we were friends all through 3rd grade and till this day. We were divided in high school. I was the college prep class. However, I got in the college prep section, I'll never know. And Loretta was in the vocational, and that simply meant college prep scored higher on their entrance exams to get to the school. And so we didn't get like fun classes like home economics and sewing and that stuff. The other group did. So everything was all exciting, and everybody's parents had agreed, and we somehow got in, all of us got in a big fight as we were planning the trip, the flight, the rooms, who's going to stay where, and nobody ended up going. Of all things. But, you know, Mom and Dad were a little disappointed, so my graduation gift was the $500 that was going to be used for, like, it was a combo room and flight somehow, plus a little extra. Can you believe those prices back then? Is that a good deal, like a round-trip airplane and room accommodations? So we never went. But, so I think that's why I got to go again with Mom, and so that was a shorter stay. If I recall, that was a shorter stay. We did not do the Maui excursion. I just let my mom doesn't know it was the most boring part of the trip. You know, it's more fun here with Waikiki. And again, we went to see Don Ho, and it was at that time where I realized that all these shows that you see from whoever it is, from A to Z, Circus Acts, it's all staged and pre-planned, because when I went to go see Don Ho the second time, the exact same comedy goofs happened, and the same exact random person from the audience time came. It wasn't a random person. It was the exact same lines and the exact same outcome, and just like really quickly disillusioned, right? So anyways, I did enjoy the Don Ho show. For those of you who don't know, you can Google Don Ho. I think I can only remember his most famous song is Tiny Bubbles. And then there was one other very beautiful song. I think Elvis sang it. Maybe I should put a little link. Should I do a little Don Ho link? We'll learn a little something today. So anyways, but he is passed on to the tiny bubble. The tiny bubble, champagne glass in the sky, and so I think we were just there maybe 5 days instead of like a week. I think we were a week with my dad and 5 days with my mom. Anyways, so no sunburn event at all. So that was nice. I know I went to the beach. I've got pictures of me and my sister and my mom at the beach. Oh, and we went to some kind of gardens. We went to like a university. We went to like a garden and a garden show. I think we saw like a Hawaiian dancing show. This was during the day. And of course, both times we went to the Hawaiian luau. There's another crazy coincidence that happened to me. And at least 4 times that I went to Hawaii, possibly 5, I always found money. Okay, the first time when I went with my dad, I'll never forget, I found a $20 bill in the sand at the Hawaiian luau. Crisp $20 bill. It was folded like it had been in someone's billfold, and perhaps they had taken out a credit card and the 20 fell out. Couldn't believe it. So excited. Okay, and then the other time with my mom, twice in the water with my sister. These $1 bills kept coming up from the bottom of the water, and because the water is so beautiful and crystal clear, light blue, you can't believe it. Like, what are the odds that you can look down as you're wading in the water and there's these dollar bills floating up at you? So the best that I can recall is one time I found like 4, and the next time I found like 2 or 3, and each time after I found those dollar bills, on the way back to the room, this room was up a little further up the main drag. I think I remember passing by like an ice cream place or like a little, Hawaiian souvenir place where you go in and you can get some chocolate-covered macadamia nuts. And both times, I remember using that money for treats for me and my sister as we walked up back to the room. My mom didn't actually sit on the beach with us all the time. She did once or twice, but while we were doing the beach thing, she was up like in the hotel doing shopping. My mom is like the best professional shopper decades ago. She was that way, I remember, back in the 60s when on Saturday morning, 60s, early 70s, Saturday was her shopping day when we go to the grocery store, and whatever shopping we'd have to do, groceries, and it seemed like we'd always somehow on the weekend either go out the next day or later that day, and we'd go to the department store. There were like 2 department stores in Simi Valley at the time. Grant's department store and Neha's, and Thrifty Drugstore was like my favorite. Oh my goodness. I can't tell you the joy of a Thrifty Drugstore back in the day, because we had no Kmart, we had no Walmart, and Thrifty Drugstore was the closest thing. So, where was I going with that? So that was Saturday. I guess I lost my train of thought. Why was I even talking? Oh, my mom being the professional shopper in Hawaii, the stuff she would find at the best prices. She never paid like top dollar for stuff. And so then my sister and I would come back from the beach. I had found money in the water. I bought little goodies. We'd go up to the room, and there'd be all the fun little goodies Mom had for us. And even when she bought clothing, like how did she know both how to buy the exact item that we would love in the right size? As an adult, I remember being that way with my kids when my kids were little, but especially not when they were in like high school and college. That would have never gone over, especially taste. But that was another thing I learned about my mom, how her and I so much alike, and different ways in our tastes. I think out of all us siblings, I'm the only one really got into the joy of expensive fancy jewelry, the joy of a fur coat, all that stuff. So I don't know, what came first. Or was it a joint venture? Because I remember seeing all these things on the I Love Lucy show. But then my mom was the same way when she would get dressed up. Her hair beautiful, her makeup beautiful, jewelry. She wasn't gaudy with her jewelry. She had a beautiful wedding ring. Years later, a beautiful anniversary ring that she gave to me, and earrings. Never gaudy earrings. And I realized when she gave me her beautiful cocktail anniversary ring, she had remembered how much I loved it, and I still love it to this day. I've shown it before on a video. Maybe I can show it again. And then it reminded me that even if she would give it to either one of my two sisters, either one of them are not into like jewelry like that. So anyways, that was that Hawaii. That turned into a long story time, didn't it? That was that Hawaiian. Started out as a sunburn story, and then the Palm Springs sunburn debacle that I touched upon in my classified ad was in high school. I had a 65 Mustang. My friend, her parents had a condo in Palm Springs, so we drive out to Palm Springs for like a 2 or 3 day weekend. And her mom got the dates make it a stop. We got there on a Friday night, but the people that were renting the condo weren't leaving till the next morning. So that night, we slept in my car by the pool. So the next morning, we just sat poolside. And I don't know where we got our food and drinks. I'm sure there was like drive-through food place. And so we just kind of hung out until they checked out. Then we thought we could just like check in right at 11, but you can't. You kind of have to wait until they clean the place. And even though Sue had ID that she's the owner of the condo, her parents are, she went in there and said, "You guys, it's not worth it. Of course, we can go in there right away. My parents own it. But it's not going to be cleaned up. So we're going to wait till 3 o'clock till it was cleaned up." And there, on the first day of my Palm Springs excursion, I ended up sunburn. And so that was my first sunburn. So I should have known better when I went to Hawaii not to do that. But I did. It was terrible. And so by 3 o'clock we went in, and it was so obvious I was so sunburned after a couple hours. And the plan was we were going to rest up, get cleaned up, go out and have a night on the town. But so that didn't happen. Though everybody else, I think, was able to take a little respite. I was soaking in an ice cold tub. So I'm trying to say, oh, I'm okay. And I guess Bactine was everybody's go-to because somebody had Bactine or it was already there. So I remember Bactine again, and I was just red. I'm not sure if I remember the watery blisters as much as I do Hawaii, but I had the cutest dress, but unfortunately it was like a scratchy burlap dress. Even though it was like a spring summer dress, it was so cute. I wanted to wear it that night, and I think I remember thinking, oh, this is hurting my sunburn. And I think I remember everyone saying, I shouldn't wear that. I should wear like a thin top, lightweight top and skirt. They said you shouldn't wear anything that's restrictive. Oh my goodness. They were so right. But I think that was the night when we went out downtown Palm Springs, and we ate good, and we just walked the streets, and there was me, Sue, Kathy, and Can. All four of us. We had the best time, and we had gone all through high school together from 9th grade through 12th. Although I do believe Sue and Can, that last year, they switched to another school, but we were still such good friends that it seemed like we were still at the same school because we saw each other so often. So anyways, they had a little pop-up shop. We get your own ID card, and you didn't have to show them your ID. You just filled in this little card, and they took your picture and they laminated it. I thought I was all that, and it said I was 21, and there I was with that scratchy dress on my sunburn, and somehow, when I was still living at home, I'll never know how this happened. My little sister, she would always come in my room and we would play. We'd shut the door and play. She was born in 73. I was born in 59, 69, 71, 13, 14 years difference between us. So she grabbed that ID card without me seeing it, and my mom had seen it and brought it back. So I'm just guessing my little sister gave it to her, and she comes back in and she says, what's your sister doing with this? And she just gives it back to me. And I was a little bit dumbfounded, like, what? I'm not getting in trouble. But I don't think she even really read the whole thing and saw that it had my fake name. I think I used the word Susan or Sarah, Suzanne or something like that. And that I was 21. I've got it somewhere. And I know that if I ever find it again, I'll have to showcase it. So anyways, the big eating place in Palm Springs was either Hamburger Habit or Hamburger Hamlet. It was some kind of hamburger place, and we ate there. And it was fancy and fun. I had a wonderful time. And then by Sunday night, we came home. And I'll have to ask around and see if anyone has pictures of our Palm Springs escape. And I remember playing tennis, that's right, because her parents were big tennis players. We did tennis. But it was so fun to have a friend whose parents had all the amenities everything. You just go there, you give your kid the big key, and when you get there, you have access to everything. The pool, the tennis courts. I think they had a workout room. I don't recall that was part of my fun at Palm Springs, but so there's my two sunburn, very badly sunburned events in my life that, again, I see never bothered me until years later, especially now that we have access to the internet, and the harm and the danger of burning your skin that bad. I don't even like to say the word skin cancer, but so maybe that's why I have all these like freckles. See, these freckles. This is where I got badly sunburned in Hawaii, and I've been so flustered because I'm getting all these like little sunspots and freckles, and I'm thinking, what, how can that happen? I haven't been outdoors for 2.5 years, except, a little outing here and there. Anyways, so I think we'll do arts and crafts. We'll do some more arts and crafts in the next video, but bring your arts and craft hat. Do some bookmarks and some fun little book tabs. Oh, bring your glue stick. Just little odds and ends that I've been entertaining myself with recently because I've just been stuck in the house recuperating from knee surgery, and I'm just enjoying arts and crafts. Thanks for watching.